Welcome. We couldn't have picked a better afternoon for such a special event. My name's Tracy Searles, and I'm the General Manager of the Public Works Department, and I would like to thank everybody for being here today to help us celebrate the groundbreaking for this long-awaited park. One of the things I like most about working for the Public Works Department is that we get to take an idea and go through planning and design and then construction and see it really happen. And events like today are some of my favorite events because a groundbreaking is when we start to turn those ideas into a reality that the community can see and enjoy. This park is special for a lot of reasons, but I think it is particularly special because of the level of collaboration that has taken place to get us here today, both within the county, with partners from the state, and with a very active community. Everybody came together to make this possible, and I think our guests here today are a reflection of that collaboration. So I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize elected officials and our special guests. First, Matthew Meyer, the county executive. And also from his office, we're happy to have Vanessa Phillips, the Chief Administrative Officer, and Andrea Almond, the Chief of Staff. I would like to add that the Executive Office has probably taken one of the largest roles I've ever seen in a project of this nature to push it forward because of the priority it has been to this administration. So I thank them for their support. Also from the county, we have the Land Use General Manager, Rich Hall, Colonel Bon Bond of the Police Department, and General Manager Marcus Henry for the Community Services Department, who's been our huge partner. Yes, yes. I'd next like to recognize Councilman John Cartier, who has been such an enthusiastic and tenacious advocate for this park. We're so pleased to have State Senator Margaret Rose Henry from the 2nd District with us today. And also Representative Deborah Heffernan, also with us today. We very much value our partnership with the state and DENREC, and we're pleased to have the Secretary of the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control, Sean Garvin. And I'd like to also recognize Lisa Ogden and Bob Eamon from DENREC. Thank you all for being here. I'd also like from the community to recognize Michelle Demonica, who is the Civic Association President. Karen Cheeseman with Edgemoor Revitalization Cooperative. And then from Edgemoor Growth Together, Rashid Mustafa and Mohammed Salam. And finally, two special people who were here and part of the inception of this project, but are no longer with the county. We have former CAO, Kathy Jennings, with us here today. And also John Husband. I'm not sure where John is. He's with the Public Works Department, formally. Very good. And now I'd just like to take, and I'll be brief, but a minute to thank the people who really helped set up today's event and get us to this point today. First, the entire Public Safety Department has been so supportive of this effort, and we thank all of you for that. In Community Services, in addition to Marcus, we want to thank Jane Ratteni, Susan Eggert, and TJ Ferris for all their contributions. From the Public Works Department, Kendall Summers, Mark Kleinfelter, Paul Johnson, and the entire Alapocas South crew who helped set everything up and get it ready today, in addition to Frank Matarese and the county sign shop, who also helped get this ready today and even made the sign themselves for this event. And finally, the county's construction support crew. A lot of the gentlemen were guiding traffic as you all came in. I'm excited to announce that it is our own crew that's going to begin construction on Monday of this park, which is... By using our own crews, we found we can get this accomplished more quickly for the community, and we have established that we can do it more cost effectively. So we really appreciate the work they do. With that said, I would like to introduce County Executive Matthew Meyer for a welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy. Let's give Tracy a big round of applause. Fantastic job. And, thank you all for being here today. It's really an honor to be here to break ground on this park. It's the first time in over 15 years that Newcastle County has broken ground on a new park. Wow. So you're really here for a historic event. Doesn't happen very often. We're hoping it will happen more often. I've been in office a little over 18 months, my first elected office. One thing I realized pretty quickly, two things I realized pretty quickly, was one, it's a lot harder to get things done when you're in office than you think it is when you're out of office. And something else I learned pretty much in my first week in office is we didn't have the kind of money I thought we'd have to do the kind of things I thought we want to do. And so a couple months into my term last year, my chief administrative officer, Kathy Jennings, came to me and said, we need to do this park. And I said, Kathy, we don't have the money, and it's going to take forever anyway. She said, no, Matt, we need to do this park. And I said, okay. And she gave me several reasons why it was so important to this community. A couple days later, Councilman Cartier called me. He said, Matt, we need to do this park. And I said, wait, what's going on here? Teaming up on me. But I started to get the message. And then a few weeks later, every now and then I go on what's called a ride-along with county police. Actually, if you want to go on a ride-along with the county police, we can set that up for you. But it's a great way to see what's going on, what our officers do on a regular basis every day. It's pretty extraordinary. The things that I learned and that you would learn if you do something like that. And I'm out on a ride-along, and we're stopped talking to some other officers. And one of the officers says, Mr. Meyer, he introduced himself. He gets out of the car. He said, can I just speak with you privately for a minute? And I said, oh, no. What now? And we were up in Newcastle, nowhere near here. And he said, Mr. Meyer, please do the park in Edgemoor. He was a patrol officer who spent time. He wasn't even assigned up here anymore, but he'd worked up here. But he said it's really about community and about dignity. And the more I talk to him, you think that to turn a community around, a community that's not really headed in the direction we all want it to be headed in, to turn it around is really hard. It's really hard. There's a lot of efforts, a lot of investment made in turning communities around all over this country and really all over the world. And a lot of those efforts are not successful. And I don't say that I have the magic sauce to turn all sorts of communities around, but one thing I know is that you got to have all hands on deck. If we do it, it's got to be the federal government, the state government, the county government, the municipal governments, all working together. It's got to be our land use department, our public safety departments, our police officers. It's got to be our parks. It's got to be Rashid out here working with the kids, forming track clubs, bike clubs. And so this is a big part of it. And I also should say the community has made it very clear to me that they want this park, they need this park, they will use this park, and they will take care of this park. And so that's a little bit of the history. Legally, getting to this point was not that easy. Just figuring out the ownership of these parcels was a huge challenge. And I know Representative Heffernan for years has been working behind the scenes to see how we get this done. So I really appreciate you being here today. And I also have to comment, it's great that the first park I break ground on, my high school soccer coach is here, who also happens to be the executive director of Bellevue Community Center, Joe Wisniewski. So, thank you. And let me just close by saying this. People are starting to ask me, what do you like about this job? What do you not like about this job? What I love about this job is when we get a chance to look across the county and find groups and individuals who feel a little left out, who feel like they've been forgotten by the elected officials, who haven't gotten the resources that they needed. When we put our finger on that, there's something that should happen. And there's something, we're gonna put our names on the line. We're gonna put resources into this to make sure it happens, make sure the community is with us, and make sure we move forward together. So thank you. I know I'm preaching to the choir. A lot of people that made this happen are seated around us today. So let's take this as a start, move forward. Let's take care of this thing and grow it and use it as a basis to grow our community in a way that makes us all feel good. Thanks.
Before I introduce our next speaker, I would like to take a moment to recognize some of our most special guests today. The Summer Rec track team joined us today in uniform. All give them a hand. Thank you all so much for being here today. Our next speaker is Councilmember John Cartier.
Thank you, Tracy, and you're doing a great job emceeing this. I'm going to have you out at all my future events. You're doing it. You had left no name unsaid, and you're doing a great job. Anyway, Councilman John Cartier, glad to be here. Another great milestone event for Edgemoor Gardens, a community that, well, a lot of people think is, just beyond. It is not beyond. We have worked over many, many years with my great partners in the community, the Edgemoor Revitalization Cooperative, Karen Cheeseman, our Civic Association President, Michelle Rouse, all of the local nonprofits. We have the Bellefonte Lions Club here, they're helping out. We have so many great support people, our local church faith community. I hope they're here. They're very instrumental in all of this. So it takes a village to rebuild the village. And that's what we're doing here in Edgemoor Gardens. And I can tell you that this isn't going to be the end of the future. This is the beginning of the future for Edgemoor Gardens. This community is going to be a safe, thriving community in the future. And this is one of the milestones we're putting in place today, because there are so many youth in this community that need a place to recreate. You know, we hear for complaints, they're out in the street playing basketball. Well, we want the kids to play basketball, right? Well, if we don't have, if they can't play in the street, where are they going to go? So now for the future, we are going to have this facility that youth can recreate. And not only that, we're going to have a little walking path around so that folks who just want to take a nice little walk in this nice setting can go walk around the perimeter of the park. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of the players who did all this. I was an advocate, I'll grant you, but there are so many people Tracy alluded to, and I want to focus on a couple of them. So you heard about the county executive being dinged by one of our county police officers about putting that park in Edgemoor Gardens. Well, that is Clifton Allen. Clifton Allen, in my tenure, ran the walking patrol here. He became a real advocate for the youth and the community here, and he went out of his way, and I can tell you, every couple months he'd give me a phone call. Where's the park, Councilman? Where's the park? So government moves slowly, Officer Allen, we're getting there. Also, I want to thank the person who kind of connected all the dots. He recently retired from Newcastle County. That's Jonathan Husband over there, enjoying retirement. And John, you did a great job. And when we talk about partnership, this is a great partnership with our state government, our elected officials, Representative Heffernan, Senator Margaret Rose Henry, our Secretary Demonica. They were really instrumental in this. The Civic Association donated the land. We really had all the cylinders firing to make this happen. And that is, not typical, but it's a signpost for the success in the future. So I'm very glad to be here as your councilman for the community. And I derive my energy to do the things that I do because of your passion and your concern for your community. So stay passionate, and let's continue to work together to build a great future for Edgemoor Gardens. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Next, I'd like to welcome Sean Garvin, Secretary of DENREC.
Thanks, Tracy. It is really exciting to be here. I'm a neighbor. I live right over the tree lines. This is my community. I shop at the food line. My son played baseball at Fox Point Park. This is home, and so it's really exciting to have the opportunity to be here. The governor wanted me to express his congratulations, County Executive, for the incredible work you're doing here. I've worked pretty much my entire life in government, and one of the things that has been ingrained in me, be it working for Senator Biden or County Executive Greenhouse or President Obama, and now working for Governor Carney, is the work we do is about the people. The work we do is about our communities. The investments, the policies, the decisions that we make really come down to all of you, and making sure that we are in a position to make your lives just a little bit easier, making sure that everything that we're thinking about is about the people that we represent. And I think there's no greater example than this project in this park. And I want to thank Councilman Cartier, who happens to be my councilman, Representative Heffernan, who is my representative, and Senator Margaret Rose Henry, who really is everyone's senator in the state of Delaware. And so thank you for your leadership. I am happy for you in your retirement. I'm sad for the rest of us that you will not be representing us, but you will always be Senator of the state of Delaware, and so I thank you. I'm here to kind of underscore the idea of partnerships. I'm here to underscore the fact that none of this gets done, particularly in the state of Delaware, without us all working together. Without us all finding our kind of piece to the puzzle. How do we put our little fabric on the quilt that makes this stuff happen? I'm here representing the governor, and under the leadership of Senator Henry and Representative Heffernan, the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control provided to Newcastle County $100,000 from our Outdoor Recreation Parks and Trails grant to help move this along. And this we have a process, a statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, and this was one of the highest ranked things on our list that we wanted to invest in. So it's great to be here. And over 30 years that we've had this outdoor grant funding, Newcastle County has received 23 grants and about $4.3 million in grant funding to help do these kind of projects. I want to also recognize Michelle and the entire community for the focus that you've had, the hard work that you put into it, the insistence that we as your government officials, as your public servants, make sure that we're paying attention to your communities and investing in your communities. And I cannot say how proud I am of being able to be a part of this as a neighbor, as an official of the state of Delaware, and as a human being. These are the kind of things that we need to be investing in, and we will continue at Delaware and at DENREC to look to figure out how do we continue to be part of putting our fabric on that quilt. So thank you and congratulations.
Sean, thank you. You did a great lead-in for our next speaker, who is Michelle Demonica, the president of the Edgemoor Gardens Civic Association.
And Brooklyn. She's forever by my side. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michelle Demonica Rouse, and I'm the president of Edgemoor Gardens Civic Association and board member of the Edgemoor Revitalization Cooperative. This is an exciting and special day. Edgemoor Gardens is truly grateful for this partnership and opportunity with Newcastle County. It has been almost 2 decades since Edgemoor Gardens has had a playground in any of its open spaces. In this very location, I once played for hours with my friends and neighbors on the swings. And now, some of us who still reside here after many years will get to see our kids and grandkids playing here with their friends and neighbors. There are so many people to thank in helping Edgemoor Gardens grow. Please forgive me if I forget anybody. Thanks to Sean Garvin and Demonica for awarding the grant monies to fund this project. Tracy, where's Tracy at? Where'd she go? Tracy Searles and Mike Bowser from Newcastle County Public Works, we thank you for your dedication in seeing this project to fruition. Also from Newcastle County Public Works, Jonathan Husband, we thank you for having made this one of your final projects before your exit into your retirement. We would like to thank the Newcastle County Council for the unanimous vote to get this ball rolling. Thanks to State Representative Deborah Heffernan, our Senators Henry and McDowell for your support and efforts in tackling and resolving many of our issues here in the Gardens. Senator Henry, we are glad you are here today with us to celebrate upon your retirement. Yes. Thank you. Thanks to our county executive, Matthew Meyer, for seeing the importance and the impact this park will make in our neighborhood, and for following through on the commitment that was made by your predecessor. We appreciate you and everyone in Community Services for your continued support in our efforts to make Edgemoor Gardens a more safe and inviting place. And last but not least, to our honorary Edgemoor Gardens resident, Councilman Cartier. You have fought. Cardi, I'm being attacked by my hair. You have fought and continue to fight for us here in Edgemoor Gardens. You have been our #1 advocate, and we thank you for your time and devotion to us. The dedication of this park serves as just the very beginning of our transformation into a safe, vibrant, and healthy neighborhood and welcomes all. I, the members of the Edgemoor Gardens Civic Association and the Edgemoor Revitalization Cooperative, as well as the residents of this great neighborhood, look forward to the new park here. And one last thing. Please come join us on August 18th, Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. for our annual Unity in the Community Day picnic and neighborhood cleanup. Thank you.
Before we move to the shovels, I would like to let everybody know that our mobile farm stand will be here till 3 o'clock today, and it will also be here every Thursday from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So please take advantage of that. And also during a break, Rashid, who we've heard a lot today for all of his work with the Edgemoor Grows Together program, reminded me that this year an unprecedented 10 members of the youth in this community were hired through the county program to work at both the ERC and the Bellevue Community Center. That's another great example. I would like to have the 4 speakers each line up with a shovel here, and then once they get in place, we'd like to ask everybody else to file in behind them for the official groundbreaking.